Hey, Ace on Knives. I got my little bar table set up here, and I thought I've been sick all week. I'm starting to feel better. A little Z pack. Figured I'd have a little bourbon with you guys and talk about these Sativian knives that I reviewed all week. It was Sativian week, as you may have seen. Got my two gingers. Glass. Cheers. It's Friday. Happy St. Patty's Day. Oh, yeah. That hit the spot. So, I tried to go live for the first time and it wouldn't let me because I hadn't done it before. So, for you beginners out there like me, if you want to go live, you got to set it up. Here's Loth, my shop cat. Yeah, you gotta set it up, and it takes 24 hours, up to I guess, and then they let you know, and then you can go live whenever you want, I believe. I wasn't really ready to go live, anyways. I guess. What was I gonna say for however bit of time? But I had my iPad out and all ready, and was ready to rock and roll. But let's talk about these knives. So the first knife was the ST-146. I named it the Dragon. That started this thing all off, kicked the whole thing off. Was this cool little dragon knife. It has the nice little kind of harpoonish nudge here, the weird fluting on the knife. Well, so I kind of dubbed it the Dungeons and Dragons knife first. I got the subscriber who follows me a good bit, I guess, a little bit, and he's got his own knife. He's got his own knife review channel, and it's Knives I Guess. And he's just kind of this quirky, funny little Dungeons and Dragon dude. He's even got like a Dungeons and Dragon program or something that he does the knife review on. I think he's pretty good. I think he's really good. Better than some of these other knife guys, if you ask me. And he's got the Dungeons and Dragon dice on there. I just think it's great. He's representing his thing. So I mentioned that I was going to give this knife away to somebody in that realm. And he got on there and said, "You know who's the Dungeons and Dragons guy?" And I said, "I know. You're who I was thinking of." And he was like, "All right." So I'm giving him this knife. I was supposed to ship it out today, but I went to the doctor yesterday and I found out I had pneumonia. That's why I've been sniffling and sneezing and coughing on all these videos this week. Finally went to the doctor, get that checked out. This hotel, what is it? Hotel Tango bourbon is good. Daddy Dig. Try that out. Yeah, so I think the first knife, we'll just get this one out of the way. It came in this leather case. I was real excited about it because it was the Damascus Sativian that has VG10 core. It's got the flipper, and it also has these hole tabs. So, and this nice wooden handles. And I thought, man, this might be a good knife. Sativian does a really good job on their knives, and I thought, hey, boy, did this miss the mark. I even took it apart and tried to bend that lock up. It's better. Give it time, it might break down, but I think I might have fixed it, obviously. But man, the action got worse because I did that. I've got the pivot screw really tight so that it doesn't wiggle much. I got to figure out something to do with this knife. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it's going to go back in there until I figure something else out. Yeah, so that was a disappointment because it was a $30 knife, and I was kind of excited about the Damascus aspect of it, even though I don't really know how well Sativian does Damascus. But they say it's got a VG10 core, which is supposed to be pretty good, I guess. I don't know enough about that stuff. But yeah, so then I think the next knife I looked at was I call this the CEO Warrior. This knife turned out really well. I like it. The VG10 and how it's really linear. And I even transferred the pocket clip from my petrified fish flavorist that I put a Damascus clip on it. It had the same angle, and the clip has the angle, same exact angle. It was like it was meant to be because I didn't care for the clip that was on this. Now this knife is kind of personalized, and I will carry this somewhere for sure. I like it. It's pretty cool. This is the 108. Then I looked at, let me get another drink. So good. Almost as good as coffee. The 139. All right. So reviewers that review Sativian, they like this one. But kind of like me, they didn't love the pocket clip. They didn't like the pocket clip because it didn't cover the 3-point hair, just the 2 points. So you can't swap it out with much or anything, I guess. But I didn't like it because this was sharp. And it kind of digs into your finger or your hand. Really, really does, actually, without me being a baby. But other than that, the choil on this, it needs jimping up here. I say jibbing. I'm just going to keep saying jibbing. If nobody likes it, I don't care. Yeah, it needs some good jibbing up here, I think. But it's really well made. The micarta on it is really nice. It's got the right angles. It's got decent access to this liner lock. The pivot's good. The action's nice. Drop. Come on, baby. There you go. It flies up. See if we can get a reverse flick off the blade. Nope. Yeah. So that was the 139. Then I was like, that knife was like, I was like, this is one of my better Sativians I've ever bought. And with this collection, I just bought last week. I had two, and I think there was another one too. But I've got almost 10 Sativian knives. I mean, I think they're really good knives for what they are, for what they're supposed to be. But then this sucker came up, and this is the 110. And the interesting thing about the 110, okay, it does have D2 steel. So the D2 steel was on this and this. All the other knives had 14C28N steel. So the CEO Warrior Tanto and this had D2 steel. The rest 14C28N, and then the Damascus one had VG10 core. But this one, it's got the thumb studs, right? Very well thought out for your hand. It's got micarta scales that are like milled out real nice. And then it has the axis lock. Now that axis lock feels robust. It feels like they might have used some pretty decent hardware on this axis lock. And I'm hoping so. You'll find out after you flip it a couple hundred times that it's bueno or no bueno. You know what I mean? So right now, it feels as good or better than most of my Axis locks. I think my best Axis lock knife I have is the Best Techman Ronin, and it's really good. But this D2 steel, which, let's talk about that real quick. I had a subscriber on one of my videos because I tout 14C28N steel. Not for any great reason like I have time tested it or anything like that. Really, a lot of it has to do with, I trust and believe in a lot of the experienced knife guys out there. And they say it's a really good steel. And I think it is too. From what experience I've had in it, it seems to hold an edge. It takes an edge and holds an edge pretty well. Now, that steel on a budget knife that's 29, 19. I think this was $19, the Dragon. It was $19 and it's got 14C28N steel. That's so much. I don't care what anybody says. That's so much better than 8CR and 440, just 440, not 440C, but stuff like that. There's a bunch of steels out there that just really aren't good, and you do find those on the cheaper knives. But now we're getting cheaper knives. 14C28N is good steel. Am I saying is it great? Is it crew wear? Is it, Damasteel? Is it all these incredible steels that are on these incredibly expensive knives? Well, no, maybe not. But people like that kind of anger me, kind of don't. Because I get it. Some of those guys are real serious knife guys, and they use their knives seriously. And then there's a huge majority of us out there, and I say us because I don't use my knives as serious as the next guy. I am not quartering wood out in the field. I'm not doing stuff out in the field or even in my shop that requires a specific type of knife that I can't just grab off my bench and out of my collection that has any steel on it. So I'm one of those guys. And I'm okay with it because, you don't have to be a Formula One race car driver to appreciate a Corvette, you know? So, last I checked, Formula One race car drivers aren't getting on people's posts and trolling people and complaining because you're not a Formula One race car driver. You have no right to talk about a Corvette or a Ferrari. No, they don't do that. There's a reason because that's stupid. Yeah. So if you want to wear your ass like a hat and complain because people think, say, 9CR, 10CR, Oz 10, D2, 14C28N, and they think it's good steel, but you think yours is better because you got a Crewwear Spyderco, you know, you need to reevaluate yourself because you're really nitpicking, and you're trying to pick a fight or you're trying to be whatever. I get it. You're bored. You're at home. You're in your parents' basement, and what are you gonna do? You're gonna troll people. It happens. So you get those, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it was 2 years ago, and people thought D2 steel was incredible. Now you got all these knife guys, and they're just kind of like they don't give it any respect. It's kind of a shame because D2, I believe D2 steel is when I don't want to say the folding pocket EDC revolution was really smacking hard, and you were getting incredible materials in a very affordable knife under $50. Yeah, so that's how I feel about that, and I'm not mad. Yeah, I get a little annoyed because it's just kind of like, come on, guys. And then I was watching because now the big blade show in Texas is getting ready to go down, and man, I wish I was there. I really do. It'd be great, but I'm watching some of these preparatory videos of some of these knife reviewers showing what they're going to be carrying, and I'm like, oh my god, where are they getting these things? I mean, it's just titanium T8 hardware. I mean, I don't know. Like, I didn't see one reviewer say, I'm carrying this VV Elementum to the knife show. Or I'm taking my Kaiser Assassin to the knife show, or I'm going to be sporting my Artisan Cutlery Feldspar to the knife show. You know, it's all. I got my Hogue, my Rockstead, my. I mean, I was kind of like, what? Gee, I mean, this one guy had a knife roll, and it was out of control. I got to think there was probably $12,000 worth of knives out of 8 knives in that knife roll, and I was just like, man, talking about forgetting where you came from and the knives that put you on the map. You know, here's my knife roll. You know, I'm not a big fancy knife guy like these guys either. So this is apples and oranges. But guarantee you, if you see a video 2 years from now of me going to a knife show because maybe I can be more of a big thing in the knife world, which I hope to be. I guarantee you I'm going to carry a great normal knife in that knife show. Like if I was to go this year, hands down, the knife I would be taking is my Kaiser Assassin. And the only thing special about it was I put a Damascus clip on it. Aftermarket Civivi clip on my Kaiser Assassin. Yeah, this is what I would carry the first day. Say there's 3 days that I don't even know. I believe it's 3. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. So I would carry that. And then there'd be a day where I would definitely carry my Civivi Sakoki. Yeah. And you may all be out there saying, oh, well, you know, you carry what you can afford. So right now, Rich, all you can afford is that. No, bullshit. I call BS on that big time. I can afford expensive knives. I don't choose to have, I mean, a lot of these big knife reviewers, let me first say, I like most of them. I think they're all great. And I love watching them, and they teach me a lot of stuff. But I feel there's a disconnect now, slowly growing from the big guys and the regular people. So you see them more and more. They're just reviewing these real super crazy, expensive, off the wall, space age titanium knives with things about them that aren't super practical as well. And I'm just kind of like, they're losing me a little. So the third day, I would probably carry an artisan knife. And it would be a toss up because, man, I always forget about my feldspar. This thin line carbon fiber handle feldspar is legitimately awesome to me. I think it is every bit as cool as any of these funky titanium things they're showing on TV these days. And if I wouldn't take that, I would definitely take the Artisan Ahab. This knife, titanium clip, wood handles. I believe it's got 154 cm steel. I challenge somebody to tell me that that's not good steel. Because that's next, guys. Next year, or even later this year, mid this year, whatever it may be, you're going to start seeing Damasteel, Crewware. You're going to see all these high-end steels, and you're going to start to see them on some of these $50, $60, $70 knives. I mean, because look, it's easy finding a knife with 154 cm, which was really, really great steel 2 years ago, last year, whatever. Now I'm getting it on my $60 Artisan Ahab. By the way, this knife is so cool. I don't know. Artisan cutlery just really does it right. You know, titanium clip, everything. But that's what you would have saw Rich Armstrong carry to the Texas Blade Show. I probably would have taken this whole roll right here, and I guarantee you, just to be funny or to be stupid, I would have thrown a Sativian in there, like maybe this 110. and carried it one day. And it would have been great because, like, maybe going to the Benchmade booth or whatever, talking to those guys. Maybe I would have taken this 138. This thing's crazy. It is so big. Like, I've got big hands. And this thing almost makes my hands feel small. This, by the way, won Sativian. This was my number one. And I never would have guessed it would have been. First off, I never checked the dimensions when I bought it. I was just looking at the shape and the style of it. And I was like, that is a weird looking knife. I've got to get it. Yeah. And I was like, the action, the sounds. This is a $28 knife, guys. And this thing's got 14C28N steel. Yeah, go ahead, say, somebody's going to get on there and say whatever. Good steel. Yeah. So that's what I would have carried, maybe taking this, just to be really quirky. Pulled this out at the Benchmade booth or the Spyderco booth, and they would have laughed at me. And I'd have been okay with them laughing at me. Because, I don't have a titanium scale Spyderco with crewwear. I don't. I've got a Tenacious, and I don't even know what kind of steel this has. I should know, but I don't. I know it's a good knife, and this was only $60. Doesn't have the best action because it's a tactical knife, but hey, yeah, I'm not going to get a reverse flip off that. And then there's QSP, Craig. It's like these guys review all these knives all year, and they say such great things about them. Oh, this is a knife I would definitely take, which blows my mind because until this knife, I was not a CRKT folding knife fan. And I say folding. Their fixed knives are cool. They've got a pretty good rendering on fixed knives. I think they're tactically cool. I think they're self-defense cool. I think they're even quartermaster cool. But this Pilar, CRKT Pilar, is such a cool little knife. So well thought out. Hesper Boxanes, I think is his name, the designer. This guy is definitely good. I love this knife. This is basically my everyday carry. It is such a good little knife, and it was so affordable. I want to say it's in the 20s, maybe $30 range. And I think it's got 14C28N steel. Once again, if I could see, it says it on the blade, but I can't see crap. Yeah. Frame lock, stainless steel scales, deep pocket clip, hold to flip, great action, really great action. It's not spring assisted. Incredible finger choil for choking up because it is a smaller knife. This choil right here, that's great. I love that. I think every knife should have that, believe it or not. Good knife. Really good knife. But yeah, so when I go live, I'm going to do it at this table like it's on there. And I'll sit right here and I'm going to drink some bourbon on a Friday night. Because, Friday night, it doesn't matter. Monday night, that might be better. Because maybe on Friday night, everybody's watching the good live knife guys, not me. But that's it. So I'm going to pour myself a little more bourbon. Because I'm trying to beat pneumonia. I'm trying to beat my pneumonia with bourbon and a Z-Pack. And some cough medicine. And NyQuil. I think that'll do it. What do you think? Deuces, guys. Deuces. Check me out live.